Race number 5, Cadnar's Jewelers Blue Sapphire Stakes. This is our feature $350,000 race over 1,200 metres and written by $1.75. The dominant favourite ahead of Encryption, last start winner at Flemington at $5. The Sydney side of the money's come for a performer. $9 into $5.50, double figures the rest, led by Tony Nakoni, but written by odds on in our feature. He's only lost on one occasion, number 1, written by, and that was in the Golden Slipper when he ran 4th, Hutch. He's got quality, he loves Caulfield, he ticks every box.
Yeah, he might have had enough by then as well, but look, he's expected to improve a fair bit off that first up run here at Caulfield. Guitra was good in behind him, but they got obviously a main target deeper into the preparation, but gee, it looks a nice race for him around here at Caulfield. He can probably dictate terms again and he'll be hard to beat.
Pete, if you were legging up Jordan Childs, what would your instructions be?
Ride to suit the horse, not the race. If the horse wants to be, I don't care if I see him 5 in front. I just want to see him flowing, doing what he wants to do. Don't try and dictate to the horse. Used to Jab control the slipper and he sat off him and raced a bit keen. Maybe could have been a slipper winner if he had rolled forward and taken her on. I don't know. That's a big maybe. But just go out and let the horse do his own thing. Control the race within the horse's comfort zones.
Jane, he's 5 from 6. He loves it at Caulfield. How does he present?
Well, he presents well. There's no doubt he's certainly strengthened up and thickened up off the back of his 2-year-old campaign. So he's a better type to look at this time round. He's probably not as quiet in the yard as what he was as a 2-year-old. He knows what it's all about now. He knows he's here. He wasn't tuned up first up and therefore he sweat quite heavily in the yard. He has started to sweat again today. And look, the Coolmore is going to be the race he's peaking for, but he looks pretty good for this.
Encryption's going towards a Coolmore. He was tried out towards a mile as a 2-year-old. His mum, Guelph, won a Group 1 at a mile. His dad won a Group 1 at a mile and then 2,000 metres in Lonhro. Encryption, though, kept as a sprinter, Hutch.
Yeah, and he was a $20 chance in his last start, which he won, of course. He beat Native Soldier that day. But it was the day where I thought he got a lovely ride from Craig Williams in by that very strong wind that they were racing into. He was smothered up and he burst late. But it was a good performance and he'll need to produce something similar to win this.
He appears to have a pretty good attitude come race day. He's pretty cool-headed in the yard. Not much really bothers him the way he wanders around. Straightforward and holds his condition in between races.
Pete, number 3, Performer's a fascinating runner for the punters to try to get a line on. We know he's got a lead ability, but he's been his own worst enemy in the past. Taking the blinkers off is interesting.
I would think Chris Waller's probably just looking at all avenues to switch the horse back on. It's sort of real Jekyll and Hyde early form to now, and blinkers off, Melbourne direction, change of pilot, looking to see if that can work here. Listen, you're taking him very much on trust. Ability, he's got that, we know that. Are we going to trust him? It's up to you if you want to put your money on to do that.
Maybe it's the ground as well. I mean, maybe they're looking for a firmer track because, you know, it was a heavy track last start for him, young horse. Maybe he just didn't get through it. So, look, he showed enough early on to give him another chance today.
He's a good size colt and he's got a little bit more athleticism than some of his race rivals. He's been back to the trial since that last run at Rose Hill, and I actually think the team couldn't have got him here in any better order. He's got some great muscle definition and look, he looks pretty spot on condition-wise.
And here's Tony Nakoni. Well, he was terrific in June. They gave him a little freshen up, aimed him at the Vane. He won that, and then aimed him in the McNeil. What did you make of that run, Hutch?
Oh, I think he got into a race where there was a bit more pressure, and it found him out. But he's got written by here. He's not going to hang around either. So I expect the tempo to be pretty genuine. You never knock a horse on one run. Like, he could bounce back. But I was sort of willing to take him on even the day he won in the Vane because his win prior to that, he'd been given a lot of favours. But he's lightly raced and on the upgrade.
He's not an overly heavy colt and he's actually quite attractive. He's got a good head on him. He's got a great colour. He's got that beautiful, rich colour to his coat. I thought he had a real bounce in his step in the mounting yard today. He's one that certainly caught my eye.
Smart Alyssum, sale maiden in July. And Pete, that can be hard to do, isn't it? That winter form and then keep going through all the way through to spring. It's hard to keep them going in their first prep.
Yeah, and he's had a trip up to Sydney in the interim, but those sale maiden form, we saw that on Saturday to the
Man
fore,
for a tridey.
as we did. So, listen, it's a nice horse, nice type of horse. Had a little bit of a freshen up since the trip to Sydney, and having a throw at the stumps here for the good prize, mate.
And I wouldn't read too much into the Run of the Rose performance just on that heavy track. That was blamed on the day, and a lot of horses can go out and not perform under those conditions.
He looks like a speed horse. He's much stockier, much heavier than his stablemate, Tony Nakoni. The fitness is there for this horse, so if he's good enough, he'll run a good race.
And here's another colt by Written Tycoon. This is Spielberg. Went to Ballarat for his maiden. Got the job done there. Is that good enough to go straight to a Group 3?
Well, on the raw sort of figures, he's got to find a fair bit, but he's open to a lot of improvement. It was a nice win from Spielberg first up, so we're still working out. I couldn't be tipping him today. He's a $26 chance. I think it's probably fair enough, but you know, he's precocious. He put in a nice performance, and I don't think he'll disgrace here. And of course, Gator's brother's involved in this horse as well.
Oh, I hope he can overcome that. Jane, how is he?
Well, he's a flashy type. He's certainly been stamped by his sire. I thought he was absolutely glowing in the coat, but he was at Ballarat when he won as well. He is a light horse, doesn't carry a lot of condition, and Henry Dwyer did say if he didn't do well out of that Ballarat run that we probably wouldn't see him here, so that indicates the horse has really gone forward since his debut victory. I thought he looked good in the yard.
This is our feature, and it's also the first leg of the quaddie. Hutch, let's put him into some sort of order, this small field of 6.
I won't be tipping against Written By. I don't think. I definitely wouldn't want to take $1.07. I just want to see where he's at. I know he's underdone first up. Let's have a look at him today. Encryption, Smartalissum, and Performer. But let's hope we do see Written By back to where he was at last prep.
1, 2, 5, and 3 as we check in with the Bet365 market. It's $1.75, Written By, dominating the market. Has there been a push against the favourite? Well, Performer early, $9 into $5.50, now into $5, has gone from 4th favourite to 2nd favourite. Encryption, easy, $4.20 to 6. Tony Nakoni is $8 out to 11, now trimmed into $10. So Written By, odds on, Jane, the pick of the yard for you.
Yeah, tough race to assess. Written By, short price favourite. I couldn't fold him at all. As I mentioned, he's come back a bigger, stronger horse this year. I think he's really going to be at his peak come Coolmore time. He still showed signs of a little bit of freshness in the yard and got a little bit warm. I think he can probably win despite that, but the horse that I'm putting on top is actually Tony Nakoni. I just thought he had a real bounce in his step in the yard today. He looked pretty switched on. He looked ready to be here. He looked healthy and well in the coat. So the 4, Tony Nakoni, is my pick of the yard.
All right, pick of the yard is Tony Nakoni. We'll try to touch base with Graham Begg, get the latest in regards to Written By. Won last year this race by the filly Formality. Year before, Flying Artie, and then went and stylishly won the Coolmore at Group 1 level. Keen Array in 2015 and eloping the filly in 2014. Short price favourite is Written By, and he's trained by Graham Begg.
Well, Graham, you did tell us you didn't have him tuned up when he won here last start. I know the Coolmore's your target. Where is he in his preparation today?
Yeah, no, he's taken significant benefit from his first up run and just trained on really well. Obviously, he's still got a little bit of improvement after today because we've got 2 weeks of the Coolmore. But no, we're very, very happy with the horse. He's trained on really well and he's in good shape. He's a bit up on his toes today and he's pretty lively, but we're very happy with him.
Were you quite pleased to see that with him in the yard? I know as a 2-year-old he was always really quiet, but it seems like this time round he's really woken up. He knows what he's here for.
Oh, no doubt. He's woken up a bit, but he's always had that little bit of a trait. Even at home, he can get himself a little bit keyed up, but I think he's actually getting better as he goes to the races. But today in the enclosure, he's got himself a bit wound up, but not too bad.
It is a small field. We know that he's a horse that likes to run on pace. I think Jordan looked after him a little bit first up. What did you speak to him about as far as instructions go today? What would you like to see out of the barrier?
Oh, look, obviously begin well and get him into a very good rhythm. He's got a high cruising speed and he's got a good ability to be able to kick off that. That's what's been part of his arsenal. It's been able to allow him to be successful around Caulfield anyway. But obviously the same thing. But the races aren't getting any easier, so he's got to be right up on the mark.
bottom line, what you want to see is him comfortable and rolling along at a tempo that suits him.
Most definitely, no fighting him, and hopefully not getting taken on in the lead or whatever. But if they go silly, well, he'll take a drop.
All in all, I know you said you're pretty happy, but this is a quality horse. Has he impressed you in his work this week and everything that he's done coming to this race?
Yeah, no doubt. He's ticked all the boxes.
Well, all the best here.
Thank you.
He seems very confident that Written By will run well, Hutch. He looks well, so you get the tick there, and just a matter of going out there and doing it and let Geordie Childs ride him, as Pete said, as the best horse in the race.
Geordie's a fantastic talent as well, and he knows the horse well, and he's had an association with him all along. And I think that can't really be understated either, you know, the work you put in as a rider on a horse. So, no, I think he'll get his chance today.
He's won 5 of 6. He's won just short of $1.5 million. Written By, a dominant favourite for the Canada's Jewellers Blue Sapphire Stakes.
So Written By Geordie Childs just dismounted, and the horse went in riderless. Was a little bit edgy, but now he's in the stalls. Encryption goes in, so that will leave Performer, who was $6 to $4.80 on VOPs, back to $5. Performer going in with Karen McAvoy and Spielberg to complete the line for our principal race today. Cantonar's Jewellers Blue Sapphire Stakes.
Yeah, we're getting one.
Written By's agitated. Spielberg in.
Yellow guys, be ready.
And they're all set to go.
There you go now, Tone.
Ready.
Clear.
All clear given, racing. Written By away with them. It was a pretty even line out. Spielberg began quickly. Written By is going to drive through and lead Tony Nakoni. Performer, Smart Alyssum fourth the inside, then Encryption, and Spielberg drags back to the end. 950 metres to go, heading towards the course proper, and it's Written By in front at a sedate gallop at this stage by about 3/4 of a length. Second is Tony Nakoni, and they were followed by Performer the outside past the 800. Smart Alyssum the inside for the back, Encryption, and also at the back of the field is Spielberg. So it's Written By heading towards the 600 marker, about a half length in front of Tony Nakoni. They were followed by Performer the outside. Smart Alyssum fourth the fence. Further back is Encryption, just starting to get motivated before the turn. And then Spielberg up around the bend, 400 metres to go. It's Written By with Tony Nakoni the outside. Encryption runs up behind them. Smart Alyssum the inside, followed by Performer and Spielberg. Written By lets down now at the 200 metres. 2 lengths, Encryption down the centre, the only danger. It's Written By from Encryption. 50 metres to go. Written By punched out about a length and a quarter. Encryption, too good, too classy. Written By from Encryption to gap Tony Nakoni, Performer fourth, then Smart Alyssum and Spielberg.
Simply too fast. Written By goes forward. Looks like he was super keen to get it over and done with a lot earlier. Jordan Childs nursed him, kicked him clear. He bolts in. Encryption jumps out of the pack, gets off his back, runs second. Tony Nakoni, the pick of the yard for Jane, runs third. Performer disappointing in fourth. Hutchie, a simple scenario. Too fast.
He sure was, wasn't he? And great to see him back. And what's that? 6 career wins now from 7 career starts. His only defeat in the slipper. And watching it, I suppose, through those early stages, Pete, Geordie seemed to have a lot underneath him. Horse might have wanted to stride a bit more, but he probably wasn't quite as keen as he was first up.
No, he was still a little bit keen,
Yep.
but not as juiced up as he did in that first run, and he let down a bit better today. He looked like he could have been challenged 150 out, but stuck to his guns and that little bit fitter, and you would expect him to take good improvement away from that again today. A little bit above himself in the yard, likewise again in the barriers, likewise in the first 600. So 111.5 they've run. It'd be interesting to have a look at the sections. For mine, he nearly still went slightly too slow the first 600, but, you know, I respect the fact that Jordan and Graham Begg know where he's at fitness-wise and just wanted to probably nurse him through that first half.
And he was pretty explosive soon after straightening him, but his trainer, Graham Begg, now with Richo.
Well, Graham got the job done again there. He looked very keen, as though he wanted to get it over and done with, and he still had a terrific sprint in the end. Yeah,
look, he's got a very high cruising speed, and I said to Geordie before the race, use it to your advantage, because obviously he drew well and that. Don't be sort of trying to drag him around, and he's got a good understanding of the horse and lets him roll, and that's his ability to be able to kick off a good speed and you know, and put it away, you know, turning into the straight and maintaining it.
He's 4 from 4 at Caulfield. He absolutely loves it here. That was what you're expecting, and now we go on to the Group 1?
Yeah, that's correct. obviously obvious target going to the Coolmore in 2.5 weeks' time. He'll have a jump out up the straight Friday week at Flemington, just a little gallop up there. He's got to have a workout somewhere, so we may as well take him and just give him a look at the straight, and he'll be spot on for Coolmore Day.
What percentage do you reckon you had him today, fitness-wise, and everything in part of his prep?
About 90. Just left a little bit of juice in the orange because obviously with the thought of having to go and have a jump out in between, it's not ideal. Backing up and having a jump out in 9 days' time, but at least I guess we won't have to do much work with him after that, leading into the end of the race. So it's good to get the job done today.
And Jane's also noticing the difference from him as a 2-year-old. Now it's a real bull as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, he's starting to get a bit of a crested neck on him, and he's thickening up and he's growing into a man.
Oh, God, I can't wait to see him at Flemington, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
Graham Begg wins the feature. The Cadenars Jewelers Blue Sapphire Stakes goes to Written By, and Hutch, I think those comments are really valid as the way he's thickening up. He's going to become a man. And now I suppose the only scenario of concern, he needs to get to Flemington, have a little look around.
Yeah, all valid points as well, but I think, Graham Begg's done such a great job with the horse all along, not only from his juvenile days, but, they worked out, or he worked out pretty early, didn't he, early this year when he set the Coolmore as the path they wanted, the ultimate goal that they wanted. He's plotted a path consequently, and so far, it's all going to plan. Lovely couple of wins on the way through. We know there's improvement to come. He's pretty much everything Graham has said, the horse has managed to sort of live up to and do. So, look, I think they'll be delighted with the way things have gone so far, and we haven't seen the best of him yet this prep.
Joined by Jordan Childs. Another big tick for him. He looked pretty keen early on again.
Yeah, he was. He just got a little bit agitated in the gates, and just took me probably for long to bring him back, but I didn't get attacked and had it pretty easy out in front. He gave a good kick, and he's going very well.
Can you imagine when you actually get in a race where there's genuine speed and he can actually relax a touch?
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, I think he's probably better off just sitting off one, but in these races we've had to use him and go forward. But he's such an athletic horse, and he takes it all in his stride, so it's good to keep getting results.
You ride him. He's unbeaten here at Caulfield. What about at Flemington? Any worries at all for you down the straight at Flemington?
Look, he's going to have a gallop there, I think, next week, so I think that's a massive plus, get him to have a look at it, but I don't reckon it'll really bother him, to be honest.
Don't you love the fact that you jumped on this boy as a young horse?
Yeah, I was lucky to get the ride and just went from strength to strength, so it's great to keep the association.
Well done, buddy.
Thank you.
Jordan Childs, terrific performance there with Written By, and Jane, I think, is... In fact, Grace, you're alongside James Cummings here with a thought on Encryption.
I am, and James, tell us, you must be happy with what you've seen from Encryption, a month between runs here.
Yeah, he's run really well. The race wasn't run to suit a horse sort of back in the field where he was. They went out at a really sedate tempo, but the winner was very good, and I thought Encryption's effort was excellent. So, provided we're happy with him, I think we'll push on to the Coolmore with some confidence that he's got a little more improvement in him too.
He's had, as I said, a month between runs, a jump out since then. How much improvement is there in him now looking ahead to a race like the Coolmore Stud Stakes?
Look, he's got a lot of speed, this colt, and he's got an even bigger page. So if he can just take that fraction of improvement out of the Blue Sapphire today and get up in the Coolmore, then it's going to be a huge result for the farm. And I'm sure His Highness Sheikh Mohammed would be pretty excited to have, a big stallion potential colt lining up in a race that's building in prestige. They've doubled the prize money this year for good reason, because the good judges are all saying that the Coolmore is now one of the most exciting stallion-making races we have in the spring, and Encryption looks like he's heading that way with a big chance.
Well, a good run here. Hopefully can go one better for the team come that day. Thanks, James.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Cheers.
Well, Ben Hayes, Tony Niconi's filled at third position there. You had 2 runners in the race. Just quickly, your initial sort of thoughts on the runs?
I thought Written By was too good. He sat on his girth and kicked away from us, and it wasn't a bad run. He held on for third, but we were thinking Coolmore, but we probably won't go there now. We'll see how he pulls up. We'll make a decision where we go next coming days.
And Smart Alyssum?
He had the gun run behind, and they were a bit sharp for him. It looked like maybe he needed 14.
Thanks for your time. Good luck with them going forward.
Thanks, Jen.
Changing plans there for the Lindsay Park runners, Tony Niconi and Smart Alyssum. A big tick to Written By, and Encryption will get his chance down the straight in the Coolmore to see if he can turn the tables. 1, 2, 4 and 3 for our feature, the Catanars Jewelers Blue Sapphire Stakes.